You find yourself in this strange place. It is the same forward and back. There are a myriad of twists and turns with no sign of light in either direction and no indication of what may lie within the darkness. Along the walls are portraits, once ordinary people who were just like you, forcefully altered to become a gallery of rogues, along with the bizarre maladies that made them that way, through strange scenarios that left a grotesque scar along the faces of their very souls. Now you, discovering yourself to be in a place with no beginning and no end, with only the corner of the next turn to guide you in the darkness, and being surrounded by those who had come before and could not escape, have found yourself here in the Twisted Corridor. Tonight, a simple story. Two brothers at odds. A confrontation at hand. A deed at stake. The reading of a will and the conversation that follows are setting the stage for a conversation that most won't have, but that many should, even if it steers them briefly away from reality and straight into the Twisted Corridor. Come on in, Liam.
Bro, how's it been, man? Come give me a hug, dude.
Hey, how's it going, bro? Please, have a seat.
Hey, the lawyer said I couldn't bring Lacey in. What's that about?
Lacey?
Yeah, my girlfriend?
Oh, right. I asked the lawyer to only admit you. I'd like this to be between us and no one else. That's why I didn't even ask Rachel over here.
Oh yeah, how is she? And the kids?
They're doing just fine. Gabe has a little head cold at the moment, but other than that, everyone's doing all right.
Hey, that's great, bro. I'm looking forward to Lacey meeting them all. We should do that soon.
Right. So, to the matter at hand then.
Oh, yeah. Sorry I couldn't talk to you earlier during the funeral. Traffic was awful. I didn't mean to get in late. I'm glad you were there on time.
That's because I helped coordinate the funeral with the home. I've been here all day.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Well, at least I was only a few minutes behind. I'm glad I got to say goodbye to Mom.
Yes, well, let's get to the reading of her will, shall we? The lawyer is outside if we have any questions about any legalese, but Mom told me that she wanted us to read it alone, if we could.
Then what are we waiting for? Open it up.
The last will and testament of... Well, we can skip that part. Looks like there's a whole paragraph here about some of her choice items. She's giving Rachel some of her jewelry. She set up some trust funds for the kids, that sort of thing.
Whoa, she did? I mean, I know she and Dad worked hard to get that nice house that they have, but I didn't know she was invested in your kids. Did you know?
Yeah, I helped her set those up a few years ago. It was something she told me that she really wanted to do.
Oh, I guess I never really talked with her about financial stuff like that.
No, I don't suppose you did. To my two sons, James and Liam, I have such fond memories of your upbringing. From playing mini golf every month, seeing you both in your various school plays, recitals, sports games, and graduations, and even telling you to quiet down in church. These are the memories that have kept me warm and satisfied all these later years. But it troubles me how you've both grown apart in your adult years. Your grievances with one another have had no effect of causing grief to the other brother, but rather that grief has spread to me.
Whoa, what is she talking about? I've never had, what did she say, grievances with you or anybody.
Liam, I think it's pretty obvious what she's talking about.
Well, not to me it isn't. I've never had a problem with you or anybody else in the fam.
You being serious?
Yes! Since when have I had a problem with you guys?
How about since you posted all over the internet about what terrible parents they were for all of our family friends to see?
Well, that stuff is just true.
It wasn't though, Liam. You know full well you were lying.
Like how? Name me one instance.
Saying that they pushed their religious dogma on you so you can never complain about all of your legitimate concerns or something to that effect.
That's true. What would Jesus do? They always ask. Would Jesus complain about a boy hitting you? Would Jesus tattle on your youth group leader who humiliated you? Would Jesus push back after being choked out by a teen twice your size?
Liam, I was there. I'm 6 years older than you, remember? You're complaining about a boy hitting you in kindergarten? You're 32 years old, man. The humiliation? You mean when Pastor Jake reminded everyone to bring their Bibles and noticed you didn't have one and offered a spare to you? Getting choked out? You mean when Greg put his hand on your shoulder, then Pastor Jake tried to lighten things up by telling him to calm down, steering him away? I mean, these are not legitimate grievances.
See, I knew it. You're just like them. You bought into their crap. Now, you want to believe in Jesus? Go right ahead. I'm cool with that. But don't try to shovel the same crap down my throat. It's all about reputation with evangelicals. Mom and Dad, great as they were at times, were the same way. Always about keeping face. I was always led to believe that if I ever spoke up about how I really felt, that Dad would lose his job at church. That we would get kicked out. And then we would starve. Or worse, that I'd go to hell forever, no matter how often I prayed to God. And it was that fear in my young mind that kept me shut up.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I'm afraid you were misleading yourself. I was also your age once, and I never felt that way when Mom and Dad took us anywhere. It's not like we were hurting for money.
We were basically poor, bro. Remember when we moved and Dad had to work that grocery store job to keep us from starving?
Why do you keep saying that we were going to starve? Why only the most extreme language? You need to get off social media, man. Since you were so young, you might not remember that was always the plan while he looked for a ministry job. And look at what he was able to do. We were solidly middle class for our entire childhoods, but since then, look at what they've been able to build up. They own an estate now.
Right, so they were able to help fund yours.
I don't live on an estate, just a decent house, and I got that by hard work. After college, I never asked them for a cent. I rejected almost every financial gift they offered me, and they offered me quite a few, as I'm sure they did you.
Yeah, not much.
You say that because you didn't hold on to it for long?
No, I've spent my money very wisely, for your information.
You called Mom for money 2 weeks before she died.
Well, at least I'm here to say goodbye.
You're here to collect on the goods in this will.
How dare you say that to me?
Where were you at Dad's funeral? Where have you been for the last 10 years?
Where were you all when I needed you?
We were here, Liam. We never moved.
All I wanted to do was to see what there was to life, to not be restricted. They kept me down. And then, when I finally got old enough to try, you turned your back on me. How many times did I try to get together? Have you come out to see me? Try to introduce you to the girl I was with? At least Mom and Dad pretended they were okay with it because they still accepted me. But where were you? My own brother.
How can you invoke that now? After all the times I tried to do stuff with you growing up and you saying no? Like you said, you wanted to be unrestricted, to make your own decisions, to live life your way. And you got it. And everything that it's brought.
Of course I said no to doing stuff with my much older brother. I was just a kid.
So why doesn't that hold up when talking about Mom and Dad repressing you?
That's different. Those were things that happened.
But my sensing your rejection was only my perception?
Exactly. Look, you have your truth, and it works for you. And I've got mine, and it works for me.
I don't believe in subjective truth.
And that's why you never really did anything big, man. You're repressed too. You just don't realize it.
On the contrary, I got a degree, a well-paying job, a decent house, a wife, 2 kids. I'd say I lead a fairly fulfilled life.
But that's boring. I've been all over the world. I've seen so much. Things you would hardly believe if I told you.
And you've been with all the women, too. How long have you been with, what's her name, Lacey? A month?
6 weeks, thank you. But yes, I've seen a lot of fine people out there. And why not? Who's it hurting?
How much debt are you in, Liam?
Oh, not much. Some student loans for my couple of college years. A couple cars that need paying down. But I got caught up on my rent back pay this month.
Good. Really. Good for you, bro. That's step one. But still a lot of money you don't have. You feel satisfied?
Satisfaction doesn't come from capitalism. Jesus was against that.
He was against greed. You know better.
Anyway, money is irrelevant. I'm perfectly happy with my life. And I'll thank you not to cast judgment on it. And that is something Jesus said.
I'm not judging you. I'm just trying to follow your logic. I think we should continue reading this will.
Fine by me. Go right ahead.
My wish throughout these latter years, and even in death, is to see you two reconciled and at peace. Your father wanted this in equal measure. To this end, we have decided to divide the equity of our entire estate, save what we've already selected to bequeath to other family members, evenly between you both.
Yo, no way! Is that for real? I could live there? Wait, I can't. My job, my apartment, my girlfriend. It's impossible.
Hold on, there's more. Our sole condition is that the estate must be occupied by both of you for at least 3/4 of every year. If you cannot agree to cohabitate the space, one brother may sell his half to the other. One sec, there's a page turn here.
I don't need to hear anymore. I'll sell my half to you, man.
Wait, seriously? You don't even want to consider it?
What's there to consider? You get to keep the family land, you don't have to worry about me, and I don't have to move back here. Plus, that's a lot of money in the bank that I could really use. That's a big estate.
Liam, think about the intent behind this clause. Mom wants us to work things out, not stay divided. The house is more than enough room for both of us and my family, and any family you may choose to start one day. We could realistically do this.
You're crazy, Jim. I've got a job and an apartment.
You're a delivery driver, and you said you just caught up on rent. So get out of there. I'll even cover the fees for breaking your contract to get you back here.
This is you, doing this family thing, to try to manipulate me again. My life is fine as it is. Just because you can't forgive me for not being like you doesn't mean that I need to capitulate to whatever your whims are.
My ire toward you has nothing to do with who you are or how you live, and has everything to do with how you have treated and continue to treat this family, with no accountability taken or apologies made to our heartbroken parents.
I have nothing to apologize for. You're nothing but arrogant for saying so. Look at the log in your own eye, bro.
I haven't always treated you perfectly, but at least I have a concept of doing what's right for the family unit.
What on earth does that even mean? You're just making up jargon to justify your mistreatment of me.
That's always what it comes back to, isn't it? If someone's not affirming all of your choices, they're mistreating you. I either accept everything or I must hate your guts. Is that it?
Well, kinda yeah. How are your choices any better than mine?
Because I live for something higher than myself and actually put myself to use, contributing to society, raising the next generation, and taking care of my family.
Except for me, of course.
Oh, of course. Because I'm not affirming you, so I must be abusing you. Just like Mom and Dad did. Just like everyone in all those places you've lived and visited, who were your lifelong friends, or the one you were definitely going to marry, but who you suddenly never speak of again. Did all those people abuse you too?
Yes! Finally! Now you're starting to get it!
You know, I've been biting my tongue to keep Mom's heart at ease. But I think it's time I tell you something, as your older brother and just as a man, that somebody should have told you a long time ago. The world doesn't cater to babies. These choices you've made, the self-prioritization, the lack of introspection when something in your life goes wrong, a baby is exactly what you're acting like. You need to grow up, become a man, and put childish things behind you. It's time to stop moving every couple years just to get away from people. It's time to stop sleeping around, and it's time to open your ears and actually listen to some new people. I may be the only one in your life who's not a yes man, but I'll see steam coming out of your ears before I let you throw your life away. Because, newsflash, I do care about you. You are still family, and I do want to see this family succeed and have a legacy of good. I don't want to see you hurt, but you need to either get on board with the real world and with the future of this family, or you need to get out of the way until you've reconsidered. And that's the truth.
You know something? This exact conversation is why I wasn't at Dad's funeral, and why I haven't been around much. I wasn't avoiding them. I was avoiding you. Because I knew what you thought of me. And I didn't want to conflict over that. So you ultimately got what you wanted. You scared me away. Keep your Bible and your pearls that you so desperately clutch. Because while you sit here, hard-nosed and closed off, I'll always be ready to be a part of this family again. I always was. You just never cared if it didn't fit your framework. And you still don't. I'll leave my address with the lawyer. Send me the check for my half of the estate.
Liam, wait. Well, might as well see what's on page 2. Somebody's got to read it. If you cannot agree to cohabitate the space, one brother may sell his half to the other. Oh no. May sell his half to the other for the sum of $2 and nothing more. As one brother has 2 halves of the estate, and the other has $2 to show for it, you will both be forever reminded of the 2 hearts you have broken in your senseless duel, your father's and mine. The Twisted Corridor by Michael Lanier. This episode, The Ties That Bind, was written by Michael Lanier. The part of Jim was played by Michael Lanier, and the part of Liam was played by Josh Kapp. All sound effects are courtesy of freesound.org, with some Foley by Michael Lanier. All music was written and performed by Michael Lanier. This is Michael Lanier, inviting you once again to join us around the next unknown corner of the Twisted